Senses. This is an overview of your introduction to the special senses. We've talked briefly about the generalized senses. Now we're going to talk about the specialized senses. Any sense basically is a stimulus. A stimulus is anything eliciting a sensation, which is a conscious awareness of a stimulus. So a stimulus is anything eliciting an action potential. Okay? So if your nerve provides an action potential, then it's been stimulated. Special senses are localized, such as your hearing, your seeing, your tasting, your smelling. Then general senses are more widely distributed, like you can feel pretty much everywhere over your body, just depending upon the concentration of your nerve endings. Dude, stare at the center of this for 15 seconds, then look away. It's bad. Alright, so enough with messing with your senses. General senses, basically you have nerve endings, which are your receptors. They do respond to stimuli by developing, again, an action potential. The sodium-potassium pump along the membrane, and we'll go into more details of that later on when we get to muscles and muscle twitch fiber, when we talk about acetylcholinesterase and everything else. For now, though, basically just think an action potential. It's associated with skin and deeper structures. So your general senses, basically your integumentary system, and then deeper. The integumentary system, we pretty much know what's going on. Anything deeper, more of a referred type of pain, and we'll talk about that later. The various types of nerve endings respond to different stimuli. You have free nerve endings. Basically, any free nerve ending, they respond to pain, temperature, itch, and movement. So, again, if you get cut or you get hurt, it's going to send a rapid action potential, which we detect as pain. Temperature, you've got different type of free nerve endings for temperature. You've got hot and cold. Anything warmer than body temperature up to about 120, 130 degrees, we consider hot. Anything above that, pain. Cold goes down to about 42 degrees or something like that. Anything below that, we consider pains. When you put your tongue on an ice-cold flagpole and it freezes there, it's more painful than it is cold. And then a movement, of course. As you move, you can close your eyes and know you're moving because you've got free nerve endings telling you you're moving. Now, the specialized little nerve endings in our skin, we have Merkel's discs. Merkel's, if you say it really funny like Merkel, 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 that's kind of a light way to say it. You think of light touch, superficial pressure, very light. So your Merkel's discs, they can detect a feather, okay? They can detect something very light. Hair follicle receptors, that's pretty obvious. They detect the movement of the hair follicles. So when the wind is blowing, your hair follicles pick that up. When a little insect is crawling across your hair, or something's crawling on your eyelashes, ooh, you can feel it. And then there's Meissner's corpuscles. Meissner was the name of the guy who discovered them. Corpuscles basically means a little coiled up end. So a corpuscle is a lump or a bump. So it's a coiled nerve ending. And they detect the fine discriminative touch. So blind people will use the dots, little raised dots there in Braille with their fingers, and they can distinguish between 2 or 3 dots and the pattern they are to help them understand Braille. So just like you can reach in your pocket and you can tell the difference between a dime, a nickel, and a penny, it's because your Meissner's corpuscles have this fine discriminative touch so you can differentiate different textures. Feeney's end organs, the guy's last name is Ruffini, but they detect continuous pressure. Now, right now, you're probably sitting down, or even if you're standing up, you're not aware of it until you think about it, but if you're sitting down, you can tell you're sitting down without thinking about it because you feel the pressure, the continuous pressure down your ischium. If you're standing up, all of a sudden you feel your feet, the pressure when you think about it. Pacinian corpuscles. In the background we have, well, the Atlantic Ocean, not the Pacific Ocean, but you wouldn't know that by looking at the water. It is an ocean. Think of Pacific Ocean, it's deep. The Pacific Ocean is very deep. Pacinian and Pacific sound close enough alike. These corpuscles are located deeper in your body, and they help you feel more of the deep pressure and the vibration and position. So these two, the Ruffini's and Pacini, are a little bit deeper. And if you look in the little diagram here, you can show the Meissner's corpuscles are right up there in the dermal papillae. They're located up there nice and superficial. You've got free nerve endings for your pain, your temperature, and your itch. They're up there in the dermal papillae as well. Merkel's discs, right under the dermal papillae as well. They're little tiny discs. You can see them located right there under the stratum basale. And they pick up any fine little movements. Ruffini's a little bit deeper. You can see they're a little bit deeper down there than down the hypodermis. And they pick up more the constant pressure. Man, it's rough. Take the word rough. Ruffini's, it's rough to sit on your butt all day. Feel that constant pressure. And then again, the Pacinian corpuscle, you can see it's deeper even yet, and it detects the deep pressure and vibration. Know those. Pain. Again, pain is a sharp, active, fast conducted action potentials. So that's a good. Pain's there for a reason to tell you something's going wrong. Take care of it. So it's good we have nerve endings up there. So when we get cut or burned or something nasty like in that picture above, we know it's there. Unlike when leprosy attacks someone, leprosy, they make the jokes that people have body parts falling off because of leprosy. Well, the body parts fall off not because of the leprosy itself, but the M. leprae bacteria basically sequesters in the nerve endings and ruins the nerves, so the person doesn't have the feeling now. They don't have the pain when they hurt themselves. So if someone's cut themselves or they're walking along barefoot, cut themselves up, they don't know it, and they keep on dragging their feet and tearing it up, and that's how they open up to secondary infections, which then can lead to worse problems, like body parts falling off. Deep pain. Oh, there's a frog who had way too many little insects to eat. He's got a deep bellyache. It's a diffuse or burning or aching feeling. It results from slower action potentials. Boom, boom. That's noise made to the action potential. Anyway, it involves only the pain receptors. Okay, the deep pain, only pain receptors. Can't believe I ate the whole thing. Referred pain. Referred pain is basically a painful sensation that is perceived to originate in one area, but it really comes from another area. So, an example, best example is heart attack. If someone's having a heart attack, your heart is over here, just to the left of your mediastinum. Yet, when people have a heart attack, they're not used to feeling their heart. They are used to feeling superficial areas. Because the heart and this upper left shoulder area nerves all go through pretty much the same tract up here into the central nervous system, that left shoulder nerves and the heart nerves here come through the same door, basically, the same opening. So the brain is now perceiving this pain from down here as being a shoulder pain. You start rubbing your shoulder and thinking, man, my shoulder hurts. But what's happening is the brain is hearing the pain come through this door, let's call it. So if I'm in my room and I hear Miss Gordon across the hall talking all the time, anytime I hear a female's voice, I kind of assume it's Miss Gordon. Now, if she had a sub in there one day, and someone else talking, and it's kind of noisy, and I just hear a female's voice but not sure, I would think it's probably Miss Gordon, even though it could be another voice not heard from. Similarly, you feel stuff in your shoulder all the time, day in, day out. So your brain hears something coming through this tract as shoulder. All of a sudden the heart cries out for oxygen and says help. It's coming through the same door, basically, the same little path. So the brain kind of superimposes that as being shoulder pain. That's called a referred pain. So referred pain. It's referred to another area. Different types of referred pains are the heart again, left shoulder area. A lot of times people grab the left shoulder, could be a heart attack. The esophagus, this whole left area. So if you have esophageal reflux or heart, a little bit of acid reflux, Might hurt all up over here. Your liver and gallbladder, that's pretty much superficial to where the liver and gallbladder are anyway. But a lot of times you just feel that general area. Proprioception, very important word. Proprioception. Proprius means one's own. So you basically perceive where you are. So you can close your eyes, get on that pogo stick, and jump, and still know gravity is down, know where your arms and your legs are, and you'll be able to, basically closing your eyes, reaching out, clapping your hands together, then bringing them back and touching your nose. You can do that without looking because all the different nerves tell where your joints and your arms are. It's annoying. Coordination, stability, agility. That's what it boils down to. Again, you can pause this if you need to. Special senses. Now the specialized senses. Olfaction. Like an old factory. You can smell it. It stinks. Right? Olfaction is your sense of smell. Airborne molecules are called odorants, and that is what carries the odor to our nasal passage. So the olfactory epithelium picks up the odorants, and each odorant then hits a nerve ending, and we can smell it. Nosebleeds are quite common because you have a very fine, thin mucus layer there in the nasal passage to allow us to smell things as well as to moisten the air going in. So the odorants from the flower come up, they pass over the nose passage. That's kind of a first-line defense as well as a pleasure thing. Things do smell good, but if something's rotten before it hits our lips, we're going to smell it. And it's a nice little defense to tell us, don't eat that, that's bad. Very few molecules are needed for us to initiate the action potential. The olfactory nerve carries the message back to the olfactory cortex of the brain, where our brain detects the odors. And then after a while, you get desensitized. So a friend of mine whose girlfriend wore this White Shoulders perfume, just nasty, strong smelling stuff, she would come in reeking of it, and she didn't realize it because she'd put some on in the morning, be desensitized to it, go in, put some on in the afternoon. By supper time, she'd come to eat with us. This girl was bathing in this stuff because over time she was desensitized to it. So after a while, like you come in my classroom, it stinks like dead preserved cat from all the formaldehyde. But after you're in there for 15 minutes, you don't notice it anymore. You're desensitized. Why do you think the senses of taste and smelling are closely related? I already told you, didn't I? Ah, smells so good. So if food is good to eat, we'll eat it. If something smells rotten in Denmark, we ain't eating it. Taste. Taste buds are oval structures located under the papillae of the tongue and mouth lining, so we can taste in our mouth. Each taste bud has about 40 taste cells, so each bud has 40 taste cells within it. And each taste cell has nerve endings which detect the different types of tastes. So molecules must go in the taste pore dissolved in moisture. They got to be wet, okay? Got to be moist. So if food is very dry and you don't have saliva, you're not going to taste it as well. And they create an action potential then, which goes to our brain, lets us know what we can taste. And there are several cranial nerves involved. And there's some of the nerves. The glossopharyngeal nerve is one of the biggies. What are your taste regions? What other flavors? There are there are 5 flavors we taste. 1, sweet. And then the tip of the tongue. So you lick an ice cream cone with the tip of your tongue. Think of that. Licking an ice cream cone. Tick your tongue. Sweet. Sour. Eating a Sour Patch Kid. The side of your tongue's going to curl up. Salty. You taste that along the side. Towards the back. Oh, get all that salt on there. Bitter. Toward the back. Something pretty bitter. Some really bitter stuff. It's going to curl your tongue from the back. And then right along the top of the tongue and all around, that sweet, savory flavor. What's that savory flavor? The amino acids. Umami. Not your mama. Umami. It's a savory flavor all over. Notice, spicy is not on here. Spicy is more a painful sensation. So why do we like spicy so much? We like